Hi guys, I'm not with you this afternoon because I'm at a doctor's appointment checking on baby Noelle and seeing how she's doing before she gets here. So I'm going to teach you your lesson today with a video. We're still trying to answer the question, how do I use place value to divide decimals? Yesterday we used estimation and models. That's what we've learned so far this week. Today we're going to continue using the standard algorithm that we started using yesterday, and we're going to divide with one-digit whole number divisors. We're going to look at the visual learning bridge, but only parts of it, and then we're going to do some practice together in your book before you have the rest of class to do your 6-4 practice buddy.
How can you divide a decimal by a whole number? Let's find out. While on a backpacking trip, Bradley hiked 23 6/10 miles in 8 hours. If he hiked the same number of miles each hour, how many miles did he hike each hour? In this problem, what are you asked to find? You are asked to find how many miles Bradley hiked each hour. What operations can you use to solve this problem and check your answer?
All right, we know.
Select your answer.
We know that it's going to be division and multiplication because when we divide, we can use the opposite operation of division to check our answer. The opposite of division is multiplication. So that's how we know that's the right answer. We're going to skip this section and go on to the next one.
The 8 cells represent the number of hours Bradley hiked. The cells are the same size to show he hiked an equal distance each hour. Step 1. Estimate. Since 24 divided by 8 equals 3, start dividing in the ones place. Compare. 7 is less than 8. Step 2. Divide the tenths. Place the decimal point. Bring down. Compare. 4 is less than 8. Why does the decimal point go between the 2 and the 9 in the quotient?
Yesterday we talked about knowing that the decimal point is going to go straight up from the quotient, from the dividend into the quotient right here. So right here it's 23.6 or 23 6/10, and we're going to take that decimal point and drag it straight up into the quotient so that we have 2 9/10.
The 2 is in the ones place and the 9 is in the tenths place. The decimal point always goes between the ones and the tenths. Divide the hundredths. Annex a 0. Bring down.
So right here is where we are learning something brand new. Absolutely brand new. Here's what it is. We annex a 0 because we don't want Rover to ever remain when we're dividing by decimals. Think about that long division family. That's what I'm talking about when I say Rover. He's going to either repeat or he's going to fall asleep. Those are the only two choices when we're dividing decimals. So if you get to 4, which is what we were at, and we're dividing by 8, we have to annex a 0 and bring it down so that we can keep going. We have to repeat until Rover falls asleep. We know Rover falls asleep when we get to 0 as our answer for the subtraction for sister.
In step 3, why can you annex a 0 to the dividend?
So he's asking, how come you can add this 0, annex this 0 to the end of your dividend, and it still be okay? We know that if we annex a 0 after the decimal point, we are just making an equivalent decimal. It's still the same amount. There's just a 0 at the end.
You can annex a 0 to the dividend because 23 6/10 and 23 60/100 are equivalent decimals.
Now let's go into your book to page 321 and try some practice problems together. We're going to do number 3 first. Number 3, they already have several boxes set up and started for us, so we're going to try it and put in the missing answers, okay? They don't put anything over that tens place over the dividend, but I think we should always put a 0 just to show that we looked at it and saw that the divisor can't go into it. 6 cannot go into 4, so we're going to put a 0 above the 4. Now I'm looking at 45 3 instead of just 4. 6 can go into 43. They're telling us it goes in 7 times. Mom's going to multiply. 6 times 7 is 42. I'm writing with my mouse, so sorry if it's bad. Sister's going to subtract. 43 minus 42 is 1. Brother is going to bring down. Six goes into 18 3 times. 6 times 3 is 18. They already gave us that information. Sassy sister is going to subtract. 18 minus 18 is 0. Brother has nothing to bring down, and we're now to Rover. Rover's asleep when you get to 0. His eyes are closed, he's asleep, and he is snoozing. That means we can stop. So the answer is 7.3. You only need a leading 0 if there's nothing in the ones place. We have a 7 in the ones place, so we don't need that leading 0. Let's try number 8. Number 8 has 4 going into 3. 4 doesn't go into 3, so we're going to put a 0. Now we're going into 33. That's going to be 8 times. 4 times 8 is 32. 33 minus 32 is 1. Brother brings down 1 digit. So we're going to put the 8 here. Rover's going to repeat or fall asleep. Right now, he's not at 0, so we have to repeat. 4 goes into 18 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16. 18 minus 16, whispered if you know it. You should have whispered 2. And now I have 4 going into 2. 4 can't go into 2, so I have to annex a 0 again in this problem. 4 goes into 20, because I can now bring that 0 down. 4 goes into 20 5 times. 4 times 5 is 20. And 20 minus 20 is 0. We got to 0. That means Rover's eyes are closed and he is asleep. So we can stop. Those are my Z's for snoring, for sleeping. Okay. Now let's try number 10. It's right here. It says 7.83 or 7 83/100 divided by 3. 3 can go into 7, so I'm going to do 3 into 7 2 times. 3 times 2 is 6. Now I subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. I'm going to bring down that 8. 3 goes into 18 6 times. That's 18. I'm going to subtract. That's 0. Now you might be tempted to stop because you remembered we said that once we get to 0 we can stop, but I still have another digit. That means I have to keep going until there are no more digits and I've subtracted to 0. So I still have to bring down that 3. 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 minus 3 is 0. And now I can stop. I just have to place my decimal. My decimal is right here in my dividend, so it needs to be right here in my quotient. So remember, today you will not have any remainders. You will divide until you get to 0 and Rover is asleep, okay? You're going to now go do your 6-4 practice buddy.